Today we're going to be talking about perspective, which is lesson 4. You guys see this picture. Do you see a young lady or an old woman?
I see both.
Okay, raise your hand if you see both. All right, so some of you don't see both. Does that mean if somebody only sees the young lady, does that mean the people who see the old woman are wrong? No. So sometimes two truths can exist at the same time, right? Because it's all a matter of perspective, how you look at things. Somebody might look at something a different way than someone else. It doesn't mean someone is wrong. It's just a different perspective. Okay? So, perspective matters. So when we look at controversial issues, and you guys have to write essays on persuasion, like you have to persuade your reader to change a law, well, it depends on which perspective. Okay? It matters. Sometimes sometimes perspectives can be created that didn't otherwise exist. This perspective was forced on us. We see the bottle in the back of the truck, but it's not really a bottle in the back of the truck. Someone made us believe that. That's all I want you to get from this. It's not about the bottle. It's not about the truck. It's the fact that perspective can sometimes be artificially created. Okay? In other words, if I really want to manipulate people, I can invent a perspective that didn't exist. So like Hitler can say that only the white people are the superior race. And he can come up with credible sources that can prove it. He'll show skulls that go back to BC and show the evolution of man. And show that only the people who moved into Western Europe were the true humans, and everyone else are from a half-breed of gorilla or monkey. He has the skulls to prove it. In that case, he invented a perspective, right? It didn't exist before until he created it. And then he gets everyone to believe it. He teaches it in schools. So kids grow up learning it. Soon, this new perspective becomes truth. Unless you go to college and start learning, or go to high school and learn what we're talking about today. That, okay, I get what you're saying, but that's only one perspective. There could be another. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, what we're saying is, even in a situation, multiple perspectives can exist. Some perspectives might be false. They're lies. Some perspectives, though, are true. And some could be a mixture of both. Especially in a court case. You're asking someone to remember what happened. And by the time that person, that witness, is sitting in court, it's already been 8 months. So you're asking them what happened 8 months ago. Their story might change a little because when you look back that long, you start to forget what was true and what maybe you thought happened, and it all gets blurred, right? So, perspectives, they change as far as their truths. So here we find a dead guy in the middle. Cop shows up at the scene. These are all witnesses. All 4 of these people saw the crime happen. The person got shot in the street. Cop shows up. All right, forget the person got shot. That's too violent. Person got hit by a car. It's like a not a drive-by. Hit and run. It's a hit and run. Someone didn't stop at the stop sign and hit someone crossing the street. No, hold on. These are witnesses, though. All right, so the cop shows up. The police officer was not there. So how credible is his testimony? It's 0, right? It's an opinion because he wasn't there. But, however, the police officer could gather everyone's perspective, though. You get a perspective of the young student. How about a bad guy? How about the dog?
The dog can talk.
The dog might have a perspective.
He might know everything.
He could smell the gasoline.
Then you won't be able to talk.
Actually, correct.
Okay. What about the old man? Old man might have a perspective,
Or maybe-
but he hates everybody.
He's blind. He might be blind and he can.
He could be blind.
Or can.
Maybe he hates a certain race. So it doesn't matter whether a person did it or not. Just because they're that race, they're guilty. He could be like that. Okay?
Even with that.
So, the police officer's job is to get as much information as possible from everyone's perspective. The old guy, the kid, the drug dealer, and the dog. Everybody. And when he does that, he can then choose the best perspective. Right? Now, which of these perspectives would be the most credible? Well, let's start with the least. The dog is probably the least credible. Right? Because a dog doesn't talk.
But he can, like.
The old guy, he hates
Mexican.
he hates people of a different race than he is. Okay? So I don't know. He might be a little biased. Bad guy. I don't know if I trust his perspective either.
He's a lion.
In fact, I don't know. I might trust the kid
He's a smart
because
guy.
he's too young to want to really lie. Like, why would he want to, right?
And he looks like he's pretty nice.
But then again, he is just a kid, so he may not see things very clearly. So even if you choose the best perspective, it's still difficult to get to the truth. You see that? So, the police officer sometimes makes his own perspective. He creates one that didn't exist. But he doesn't just make things up. It's based on the perspectives of many people. This is what you as a student are expected to do. When you have to investigate an issue, you read about different perspectives on the same issue, and then you come up with one. But it's not yours. Your perspective is based on the perspective of others. Does that make sense? So based on what he said, and he said, we're just going to eliminate that one. Based on what the student, the bad guy, and the old man said, if you take all three together, we now have a new perspective. And maybe we can get to the truth of what actually happened. Okay? He has to use sound reasoning. But detective might say, wait, that's not the police job. That's my job. Detectives. And then an attorney can take it all and maybe put his own perspective on it. Why? He wants to win. Right? He wants to win his case. So he might change it a little bit. And a judge has to then determine which perspective truly is the best. So, the point here, guys, is that there are many, many perspectives to one situation. Your job, according to the state of California, is to choose one point of view about a situation. And then you're going to set up an argument that is logical, unchanging, clear, and is understandable to someone who is new to the situation. They're unfamiliar. They don't know what happened. So you have to be able to communicate what happened to someone new. Okay? So let's take this example. Chris and Sarah walk into a store. They steal some candy. The police arrive. Chris says he didn't do it. Sarah says she didn't do it. Who do we believe? Right now, no comment, right? You can't just go, well, I like girls, so I'm going to say Sarah didn't do it. No. You have nothing to say, right? You don't have enough information. So, which perspective are you going to choose? Chris? Sarah? As you can see, your opinion doesn't really matter. It doesn't even matter which one you agree with. What's important is which perspective are you willing to prove. So we must look at our evidence. Let's go with Chris, for example. Let's try to prove his innocence. So, let's make a statement. Sarah stole the candy. That is our thesis statement. But we need to prove it. Now, what the mistake students do is they try to prove it with their opinion. I think Sarah stole the candy. You know how much, you already know you're not credible, right? So when you say, I think Sarah stole the candy, how much value does that really have?
A little bit.
Not much. It's just opinion, right? But if you state it as a fact, Sarah stole the candy, we must borrow the perspective of people who were there. So, let's get some credible evidence. What are the 3 best sources?
3.
Cashier, shopper, and
I'm going to delete the ones we don't have. So, what about your perspective?
yeah.
No, doesn't matter. You weren't there. So, we're going to... Oh. So, I just want to delete that. Which is, how do you do it on a Mac? You. Oh.
Just leave it.
Can't leave it like that.
There we go. Take you out. Who else are we going to take out?
Chris.
Chris and Sarah, huh?
Yep.
Because they both have their own interest in mind, don't they? Take them out. What about Sarah's mom?
She wasn't there.
She's a parent. She's credible.
And she could lie about it.
Yeah, she might have her own interest in mind, right?
Yep.
She wasn't even there.
Expert candy.
What about these 3?
4.
These 4.
Expert
Let's
candy.
take out one.
Expert.
You sure?
Yeah.
The expert candy thief could be a good source, though.
She wasn't there though.
Wasn't there, she probably-
But can't they tell you what a thief does and what they think?
Yeah, but then she could steal it while you guys are distracted.
So see, tricky, because you guys want to get rid of her. I'm gonna say take out the shopper, just because
The shopper could have
she only sees. She could have been one of their friends or something, right? Okay, she could have been one of their friends. So let's go with these 3. And I know you guys wanted to take out the expert candy thief because she wasn't there, but I want you guys to see the value. Why talk to an expert? Because they're what?
Credible.
They're credible. She's a credible source. And they do this in court all the time. They'll bring in what's called an expert witness. Somebody who wasn't there. So, next time we'll talk about how to take your evidence and finish your thesis statement.